Hey everybody, welcome to Geeky Faucets. I'm Amy Dale.
And I'm Christine Lucas Savage.
And this is episode 6, and we're going to talk about books today.
We love books.
We do so much. And
clearly,
most of the other geeks we know also love books a lot. In fact, there was a lot of very excited feedback when we mentioned that we were doing books.
a whole bunch of people posted books they read, and I'll talk about a few of those. Yeah. My favorite geek reader is Nathan Fillion. He's a huge fan of reading books.
Yeah, he has like a PSA, right? Like a public service.
He totally does.
He also has a fake one that's really good about swamp bass.
That's my favorite.
It's
hilarious.
You play too many video games, get the sweaty butt things. So
it's really special.
It's a public.
The way he keeps his game face through that whole entire thing is amazing. So look it up on YouTube. I highly recommend it.
It's a good laugh.
Very good. But I mean, he really likes reading, and I love that about him.
It's a good thing.
He's
it's a good
always
in anyone.
It's very, very cool. So,
and we have winners to announce. Yay!
Do you remember these from last time? Well, we picked
Alien Show.
We picked the winners. So this little guy we liked the name Squidget.
Yeah, Laura came up with that name, so she's the winner. She gets to take Squidget home with her.
I know. I hope you enjoy. Is Squidget a girl name or a boy name?
I think it's gender neutral.
Gender neutral.
I think we still don't know what it is.
Laura, can you let us know? That would be lovely. Yeah, can you do that? Just send us your the address you want it mailed to geekyfaucets@gmail.com, and we'll be happy, or just message us on Facebook, whatever you want to do, and we'll be happy to send them out.
And thank you for all the names you sent in. They were extremely
creative
and awesome.
Funny.
We love them all. We had a hard time picking.
I kind of want to make more.
Yeah, right?
Maybe I should. And
you guys are very creative.
Yes, and all those people who didn't win can have one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So,
okay, and then this awesome drawing, which is from Inkspill Art, goes to Joshua. Yay! Way to go, Joshua.
Go, Josh. Woo!
And we had Anna pull a name out of the hat, and that's what she picked. And he actually also posted on his comment, he posted a really cool alien video, which was pretty awesome.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, so
send us your address again at geekyfaucets@gmail.com, or message us on Facebook, and we'll get these out to you fast as fast can be.
Yes. So congratulations.
Yes, congratulations,
and
guys.
thanks everybody for commenting and entering.
And watching.
Yeah.
Because that's huge too.
Yes.
So, yeah, thank you for that.
Yes, okay, so other things we wanted to talk about. Okay, so I just was reading this week that they're doing a reboot of Tomb Raider. Did you know about this?
Nope.
The video game with Laura Croft, with the hot pants and the
giant boobs.
Yes. So I've seen pictures of the new. It's just called Tomb Raider, I believe, is the name of the game. And it's coming out, I think, March 5th, which is this week. By the time you watch this, it'll probably be already out. And it looks like she's more modest and like a normal girl.
Really?
Yeah, she's wearing pants.
That's
not
hot pants.
Like pants, like khaki pants or something, and a tank top.
Who is Lara Croft? Do you know?
Who's the actress behind it? Yes, I do know. I read about her, and I can't remember her name. Sorry. She's cute, and she's in something, probably.
She's cute, and she's in something. That narrows it down. Thank you for that.
I'm sure if you Google it, you can find out.
Well, that's kind of cool.
So I found out some interesting things, though. I was reading an article about it, and it said that the average gamer now is 30 years old.
I wonder if that's just because the games kind of came on huge 10 years ago, and those who started the games just stayed with the games, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just interesting though, because you always think of gamers as people who play video games being teenagers. Yeah. So I was like, well, that's really fascinating. Which we're gonna do a show on video games one of these days. And then the other statistic that I thought was fascinating is that 47% of gamers are female.
I never would have guessed that. I think that's pretty cool, but I never...
Well, I always think of it, and I don't know why I don't think of men this way, but I always think that women are too busy.
Well,
you know what I mean? I'm
if I have time, I'm pretty sure
I love video games, but...
I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of video games. I can sit and watch somebody play video games for hours, but if I sit and try to play it, I'm like,
So you're like a gamer's best friend.
I would
just sit and watch
us play
while we play?
If we hung out,
you're entertained?
I just like a warm body next to me. Do you know what I mean? My brothers would play video games, and I would just sit there and watch, and occasionally I'd go get a snack.
That's great.
And I would serve you a snack.
Heck yes.
I know. I would be the gamer's best friend.
Best friend.
So, anyway.
Okay, and a couple more tidbits. So the Hobbit final film, There and Back Again, has been moved back 5 months, which actually may, be sad and depressing to some of you, but actually I was not sad and depressed because when the Lord of the Rings came out, they came out every December, it was like every Christmas. It was like a Christmas present. And that's what they're going to be doing with this one now, because originally it was slated to come out July 2014, and now it's slated to come out December. So it just makes sense to me.
I want it the sooner the better.
I mean, earlier is good, but for me, I'm like, okay, December. It's like when I have it in my mind to come out. I'm impatient. So
no.
Yeah. So, okay, another one. So Ian Abercrombie, I think is how you say his name, has been a voice of Chancellor Palpatine on the Clone Wars cartoon, which we all know I'm not a fan of. Sorry. I don't have to love Star Wars. Lots of love for Star Wars, but Clone Wars.
Not Clone Wars. That's alright.
Anyway, Tim Curry has been announced as being the new voice for Chancellor Palpatine.
Can I just tell you how much I love Tim Curry?
I do too!
Like, him on Clue is my favorite.
I know!
Seriously.
He is so great in that film. And that film is great, by the way.
I love it. Good.
It's so funny.
I've seen it multiple times.
Me too. It is so funny. So, yeah.
Maybe you'll like Clone Wars better now.
I don't know. I was like, maybe I just need to give it a try just to hear him do his voice.
Because sometimes voices help.
And his voice is amazing. I love his voice.
He does have a good voice. Is he British? He's not British, is he?
I don't know.
I don't know. He does a good British accent.
He does. Okay, and then the next one is that, so there's a new Planet of the Apes film that's going to be coming out 2014. Mm-hmm. So did you see the newest one, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
No.
Okay.
I did not.
Well, Andy Serkis, which is the guy who played Gollum, did the main ape in this. And it was sort of a story about like the apes getting intelligence through anyway, and then them kind of escaping, and they're kind of being alluded to that they were going to be like taking over the world. So the next one we call Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and it's just been announced that Gary Oldman will be playing the leader of like the human resistance.
Is he
Sirius Black?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But what else is he in?
Batman.
Batman. Okay, that guy, and he's also the really weird, creepy guy in Fifth Element. Like the one with the plastic on his head?
Yes! Oh, he's so creepy in that
He's a very good actor, though, to go from creepy, weird, ew, to, like, awesome, guy in Batman, and I think he's pretty... It took me the longest time to put those together, because I watched Batman, and I'm like, why do I know this person? Yeah. Like, I recognize him so much, and then it clicked to me, he's the guy with the plastic head.
In another life, you have a plastic head.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and he's a brilliant actor. He is.
Yeah, I like him.
I do too. So I'm excited about that because I was thinking, yeah. And Andy Serkis is coming back to play Caesar the Ape, and he's brilliant. Nobody can play an ape like Andy Serkis. So
that's awesome.
Something to be proud of, buddy. I think
Way to go,
great.
man.
I mean, he must be in really good shape. Like, you have to crawl around a lot for those kind of roles, like Gollum and stuff. Like, because they do the motion capture stuff. I'm just thinking, man, that seems like hard work. You should get paid double what everybody else gets paid, man. And you don't even get to see your face.
I think he agrees with you.
Okay, and then the thing we're very excited about.
Totally.
Is Denver Comic-Con.
I think isn't this the second annual?
It might be.
I think it's the second one.
Okay, so this Comic-Con is coming up May 31st through June 2nd. And we are very excited about it. It's close to us, which is awesome. And even if it's not close to you, it's nothing but a short plane trip away.
And it's Colorado. Everybody seems to want to go to Colorado.
You totally want to visit the Mile High City. And the guests are, well, first of all, Stan Lee is the guest of honor. Hello, who doesn't
want to meet that guy? Especially if you're a fan of like huge comic books.
My word, yeah, he's
Avengers.
Like the guy that he's the Marvel guy who basically wrote, invented Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and I don't know what all, everything.
I know, right?
Everything cool in comic books, and he now has his own company called POW, and he's just really cool, and he's like 80, so go now to Comic-Con and get your chance.
You know who I'm kind of excited is Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton. I'm actually because I'm a huge fan of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, and he's the nemesis.
He's always on the Big. I love him on the Big. He seems to take joking very well. Like he seems to kind of have a sense of humor about himself, and I really like that about people, and they can just have a good time and like I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I hope we actually like get to see him.
I know.
I don't even need to meet him. I just want to like see that he's a real person.
You're real. Like, oh my God. Yeah, so he's gonna be there, and he's super cool because I love him as Wesley Crusher.
Totally, yeah. I remember him as Wesley Crusher.
He's super cute.
He was a good-looking dude.
And then let's see,
Felicia Day.
Yes, Felicia Day,
the girl from Dr. Horrible's sing-along vlog. She's totally cute. I like her hair.
Oh, I love her.
She has great hair.
She's so funny and adorable, and she's gonna be there with 2 other actors from the Guild, which I can't think of their real names, but Clara, the lady that plays Clara, and then Zabu, the guy that plays Zabu. So, anyway, if you watch The Guild, you should totally go because there'll be 3 actors there from it, and it's going to be really cool.
So
and it's so funny.
Is this your first Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Okay, it's my first one too.
Official.
So this will be our first Comic-Con. We went to Galaxy Fest, but never anything that actually said Comic-Con in the name.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited.
I'm really excited.
And I love stuff, and I'm sure they're gonna have a lot of stuff for sale.
They are, and if you like seeing people in cosplay, oh my word.
And we're gonna have a show about that, how to do cosplay on the cheap,
so that you can be ready for
totally
Comic-Con.
Yeah, we're gonna get ready for it.
And one person we forgot to mention that's coming is George Takei.
Oh, he's hilarious. His Facebook page is fantastic.
And he is a really witty guy. And just, I mean, I think he's almost become more famous in the last few years than he ever was before. Just because of his social networking and like his...
Thank God for funny people.
Funniness. Yeah, he seems like a great one. So I'm excited to see him as well. And all kinds of comic book artists and writers and, I mean, just tons of...
You know, I'm actually excited about meeting some of the writers because at the Galaxy Fest, there's this one writer I should have written it down, but they wrote this like zombie detective novel, and it looks hilarious. So I'm hoping to like meet more people that write, you know, funny, random, weird sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, and it's a great chance for you to see stuff, you know, that you've wanted to get your paws on and look at it, and you know, because a lot of geek stuff we can't really find easily except online. So
this time it's instant
to be able
gratification.
To walk through and like
look at it. I want this. I'm going to.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
We're very, very excited about that. Yeah. And that is May 31st and through June 2nd. And you can go to their website. You can Google them and find them. And we'll put a link down here to where you can find that. And then, so that will be, you should get your plane tickets and your hotel reserved and get ready for that because it is going to be super, super fun. Okay, so let's talk about some books. Okay. Because we have a couple. Because we really, really like to read. We do. Oh my word. So much. So, I was on Pinterest, and there's a lot of, like, you know, book quotes and things like that. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but, you know when you're reading a book and you're so into it, and then it ends? Okay, this is what the quote said. It wasn't quoted by anybody. Somebody probably just made it up and stuck it on there or whatever. But after I read a good book, I have a hard time coping with reality. Yeah. Because seriously, like, I have a problem. I'm like, I want to go back to London. I want to go back to planet whatever. Like, I don't want to deal with my current reality. It's not as fun. I know. I don't have any alien friends. There's not as many robots. Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, although, when I read this one, which is this, you know, this is the Japanese version of Hunger Games. Oh, Battle Royale. Battle Royale. Mm-hmm. Okay. Battle Royale. I didn't. You didn't want to go there. No, it was okay ending. No one don't need to go to it. This is the Japanese, like, more violent sort of. It came out before Hunger Games, I think. It did, but it's sort of a same sort of idea. They all go to an island. So these are the two. We can start with these. Yeah. I'm sure there's, like, most people have read Hunger Games now, but if you haven't, it is a really, really, really great read. And the movie's pretty good too. I liked the movie. Yeah, the movie was great. So this is Suzanne Collins, and it's a trilogy. And I don't know, the second and third. The first one is by far the best, like, for sure, easily. Yeah. And I really want to read this one. Christine read this one and said it was good. So yeah, it's very good. It's just a little violent, but it was, I don't know, I enjoyed the story. I thought it was a good story, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's going to be, it looks like it's pretty heftier too. Yeah. Longer to get through, but. Yeah, it's definitely not as fast of a read, for sure. Okay, so, and we had several people who talked about this one. The Stand, yes. The Stand. I had at least, I think we had 2 people. I think Justin was one of them, maybe, and Tony. I know it's Tony, who was a guest on our show, if you remember, on our zombie show. I know it's one of his favorite books, and it's The Stand by Stephen King. And I had that. I'm going to read it. I do, yes. I have this list of BBC Top 100 books that I've been trying to work through. It's more like a life goal, not like an immediate goal, because it's got things like War and Peace on it. And obviously that's not going to be gotten to until my children are probably out of the house, or I don't know. It's going to be a long time before I get to that one. So I decided that one summer I was like, I'll read The Stand. So I went to a bookstore to buy it, and when I picked it up, I was like, holy Lord.
It's like reading the book It. I read the book.
It's huge. Not to mention, okay, that the words are freaking tiny. I was like, oh my word, Stephen King, you had a lot to say.
I read It, which is just about as thick, and I read it while I was nursing my second-born child. Like in the middle of the night, I would read it while I was nursing. It was a little bit, but I was really excited because I'd always wanted to read it. And
so now you have the time?
Now I had, when you're up multiple times a night nursing a kid.
Okay, so here's my take on this book. It's awesome. It's about like a virus that the government sort of creates and breaks out and kind of kills like most of the people on the earth. But it's kind of broken into 3 books. And so the first book is sort of about that. And then the second book is kind of about like the survivors and what they do and how they... And then the third book is kind of a big good versus evil. Like there's a sort of an evil group and sort of a good group, and they kind of... Anyway, but...
It doesn't sound gripping.
It is. It's really, really good book. I really recommend it. But 2 things I don't recommend. If you're a hypochondriac at all, do not read this book. Stay away from it.
Oh my God, I have the virus.
Yeah. Also, the other thing I had a hard time with is I have figured out about myself that I really like books that central on at least like have one main character. You know what I mean? Like I prefer it if it's sort of about one person. This book is about like 50 people.
See, I don't mind it when there's like, a couple different stories and they all kind of converge. Like I'm all right with that. But 50 people would be hard to keep track of.
Well, it took me until like book 2 to really start figuring out who was who. You know what I mean? Like he would reintroduce a character again, and I would be like, wait, who was that again?
This is probably the kind of book you can't read on the Kindle, because you probably have to flip back and forth, huh?
Yeah, I did kind of have to do that a little bit, but it's really, really good. So that's a winner.
Okay, so a quote by Stephen King that I love. I actually put this on my board. He said, "Books are uniquely portable magic." Isn't that a great quote?
Yes.
I just really, really love that a lot.
And true.
Yeah. Dude's very smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
And also, one he wrote called On Writing is also a really good one. And it kind of tells his biography. Not just if you want to be a writer, but even if you just want to read the biography type portions of it, because like the beginning and the end are and just really good. Okay, this is one that some people might know about or have read, but I don't know if it's hugely popular at this point. But it's The Never-Ending Story.
The movie's popular.
Yeah, but the book is so good.
I never read it because the movie ruined it for me.
Yeah.
When the horse was in the mud, I couldn't do that. I couldn't handle the horse in the mud.
Yeah,
that was
sadness, sorrows. What is it called?
I don't even know what
Swamp
it was.
of Sadness or something.
But I after that, I'm like, I'm
drowned.
done. I can't watch this anymore. I never watched it again.
We actually saw Atreyu, the grown-up version of Atreyu at Galaxy Fest.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a segue. But this is a really good book, Never-Ending Story, and it goes much further than the movie. Like the movie stops at a point, but this never ends. Just kidding. It's really good though. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for a good read. Okay, this one is one of my all-time favorites.
I actually read that one and liked it.
You did?
Generally, I hate classics.
Agreed.
And I think they're boring.
A lot of times I'm like, why are you a classic? Some of them,
right? But this one, I like that one.
Frankenstein.
I think that actually may have been required reading in high school, and generally I don't read required reading. I don't know how to pass school, but that's one I liked.
Well, Cliff's Notes is probably how you
No, I didn't even have those. No.
That's impressive.
I'm not really sure how I passed school.
Well, Frankenstein is one of my favorites ever. It is such a good book, and I think I only read it a few years ago for the first time. I guess I wasn't required. I guess in Oklahoma they don't really require us to read.
Watch the movies.
Y'all don't need to know how to read. Anyway, so Frankenstein, I think I expected it to be like the sort of cliched image you see of Frankenstein, like he's alive, and then like,
and he's green and has 2 big train spikes sticking in his neck.
Yeah.
What are those?
So I don't
big nails. Bolts. That's what I was looking for. Bolts.
Anyway, it's really surprisingly good, and not as you would expect it to be. It's a very human story.
Yeah. And speaking of classics,
yes,
this is another one that I actually read the whole way through.
Oh, creepy book.
Because it is creepy.
1984 by George Orwell.
Big Brother, man.
Oh, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of cultural references that...
It was very, very good. Yeah. Because, like I said, again, I hate the classics, but this is one I actually read in high school.
Yeah.
Most of them I didn't, like I said.
It was a good one. This is a good There's one. Another one I have, another like future, I don't know where it is, but A Brave New World. I think it's over here. Yes, Aldous Huxley, A Brave New World. That's another one. If you like that kind of book, like 1984, and you haven't read this one, you should probably read it. It's another classic, and it's actually pretty... I actually like 1984 better, but this was a good read too. So, okay, we can't leave this one out.
Harry Potter, of course not.
Yeah. If you... this is not just for kids, for the record. It's a really, really,
I enjoyed
really
it.
Great series.
I fought reading it for the longest time because I'm like, it's too popular. I'm not going to read it. No. And my cousins were always like, you need to read it. It's so good. And going on and on and on about it. And I'm like, fine. And they actually like gave me a book and said, here, read this. And I like devoured it.
Yeah, and you just go through the whole series. Like,
it was very, very great.
Awesome.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So if you haven't read those, you're so lucky because you have 7 books to go through.
I know, you have such an adventure ahead of you.
So seriously. Fun. Okay, now it's the C.S. Lewis portion.
This one?
Yes, both of these. Okay, so obviously the Chronicles of Narnia. It's not just The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's lots of them. 7, I think. And this is my favorite, The Horse and His Boy. I love this one. It's not the most popular one, but for me, I love it. It's so good. And all of them are so good. This, though, is probably lesser known. And this is C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy. So if you are a sci-fi fan or a reading fan in general or a C.S. Lewis fan, it's just a really great series. Just totally imaginative and super cool and, you know, just transports you completely like C.S. Lewis. Only C.S. Lewis can do. So, yeah.
Can I get on to my favorite? I'm going to show you my favorite, which y'all are probably going to... I'm okay with it, though.
Okay, there will be some eye rolling from some.
Go ahead, get your eye rolling ready because I'm not afraid to admit this. I really love Twilight a lot. Like a lot. I've read the whole series like 5 times each, and I own all the movies. I just bought the other one, the newest one, the other day, and I'm very excited about it.
The Dawn something.
You know,
Dawn?
Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Oh, Breaking Dawn. Yes, it did have the word Dawn. Sorry.
Anyways. No, so a lot of people really think it's so cheesy and but if you just read it for what it is, just a fun love story, it's so fun. It's so fun. I love it. And you haters out there have probably never even read it, so don't hate it. It's wonderful. This is my favorite of all 4 of them.
And to attach the first one, yeah, we're big fans of first books apparently. The to attach to that, I will say. I love The Host, which is also written by her.
Yeah, I couldn't get into
which Christine does not love. Nope. So if you're on the side of having tried Twilight and didn't love it, you should try The Host because that's you know. So see, we're kind of separated here, but you can go with either one.
But I really love Twilight.
Yeah.
Actually, those are my favorite kinds of books.
You're not alone.
No, I'm not alone. There's loads of people. Those are my favorite kind of books to read. I love stories.
You do, and I don't.
Like they make me really, really somebody needs to write a really good zombie. Alien, some kind of love story on another planet that's kind of awesome like that. Yeah. Somebody needs to write. Can somebody please write that or tell me if there is one out there like that? It's Warm Bodies is a book, isn't it? Maybe I should read that one.
Yeah, you probably should because the movie was funny.
I want a sci-fi love story that... Here's my problem too sometimes with sci-fi and fantasy is the names. The names are always so hard.
I know.
Because my mom's a huge fantasy fan, and she actually recommended the Xanth series by Piers Anthony.
I saw that, and I was like, the what series?
Yeah, it's all fantasy, elves, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I actually remember as a kid picking one up because I like unicorns. There's a unicorn on the cover.
Yes.
And I picked it up, and I'm like, what are these names? I can't even keep these names straight. So I'm like, forget it.
Yeah. It's tricky.
It is very tricky.
But now that I'm older,
now that I'm older, I wonder if I can handle it.
Okay, we are running out of time, and we have so many books left. But here, this one, Game of Thrones.
Good one.
Okay, I loved this book.
Do you know why I picked this one up in the first place?
Why?
It's because Nathan Fillion always talks about it.
Well, you know what? I actually started the show before I read the book. I watched the show, and I loved the show so much. The epicness and the fantasy stuff and the everything. It was just so great. And Tyrion Lannister's character, I love. Anyway, but it was just a little bit too pornographic for me on the show.
That's why I haven't watched it.
And I feel like the book is not that way. Maybe it's just
I mean,
that
I think there's some rough parts in it, but I don't think it's
not as bad as the show.
I don't know about the show,
like,
but I didn't think of this as like a majorly.
So I'm reading the books, but I've given up on the show. Sorry, I love it, but if you could just maybe keep some clothes on, for God's sake.
You don't want to.
I don't know. I just can't get through the show. Sorry, that's just me. Okay, and then of course we have to go with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Amazing series. Just sort of the one to compare all other fantasy novels by.
Yeah.
The Hobbit I love it because I can read it to my younger kids and they get it, and it's a simple, good story. This one is a little more manly when you get to Lord of the Rings because
there's lots of battle scenes in there. But the good thing about that is you can skim it. I love battle scenes. Oh yes.
Yes, but you know the thing is it's not as it's more of an achievement to read because it's not paced like modern writing as much, and it's not paced like The Hobbit even. It's like you're like this much through the book and you're still in the dark forest and you're like, really? We're still in the dark forest.
Like, I'm done with the dark forest.
So I love these, but don't be discouraged if you start reading them and feel like you're, oh no, I'm still in the dark forest. Okay, this one I haven't read, but we had a lot of people I think recommend this one, The Wheel of Time. Is that what it's called? The Wheel of Time series. I
don't know.
Oh look, there's a Piers Anthony quote.
Well, there you go.
But it's Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time. Is that what I said? Because I think that's what it is. And this I've had a lot of recommendations, which is why I own it, because I bought it thinking I need to read this. So let us know what you think about this one.
That's how I feel about this one.
Yeah.
I keep being told that I need to read this book, Ender's Game. Josh he's recommended this one to me at least 3 times. I actually found it at Goodwill, and I'm going to read it. It's between this one or this one, which are the complete opposites. This one's called A Year in Europe. I'm sure it's a romantical whatever.
Yeah.
But it takes place in someplace other than America, and I like books like that. So either one of these I'll be reading.
This one's really good. I read this one, and I was telling Christine that I didn't know if I loved it until the very end, and then it was like, oh, that was a great book. But it was, and the relationship between, it's a really interesting.
I'm kind of excited to try it since everybody keeps telling me to read it, so I may as well.
Okay, my daughter wanted me to recommend some. And
I liked that one.
This is a really good book.
In
Search of Wanda, and it's written by the guy who wrote the Spiderwick Chronicles, Tony. Do you want to give it a shot?
No.
Tony with a really complicated last name that we can't pronounce.
Tony D. Larizzi?
I
don't know. We don't know.
But, the Spiderwick Chronicles guy. Anyway, this is like a sci-fi, more of a sci-fi novel. And, of course, it's sort of aimed for
young adults,
sort of maybe a little bit
like
younger.
12-year-olds.
Yeah, and it's great. It's a really good book. I read it first and recommended it to Anna, and she was like, I don't want to read that. And I was like,
I thought it was cute.
And then when she finally read it, she loved it. So, of course.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. And this one, too, is another series she loves. And if you haven't read this, I read this when I was younger. The Redwall series by Brian Jakes. So good. Really, really, really good. Highly recommend that series.
I got that one for free on Kindle. They were offering it free on Kindle.
Oh, really?
A little while ago, so I got it. Yeah, to read.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love this book. Stories from the Twilight Zone. Yeah.
So these, I really want to read these. Have you all ever heard of Terry Pratchett? I found this one at a Goodwill in Santa Cruz, California. And it's called The Fifth Elephant, and I bought it because his name had elephant in the title, and that's my favorite animal. But I did some research into it, and apparently this guy wrote a series that revolves around this place called Discworld, and it's supposed to be really funny. But every time I try to pick this book up and read it, it's late at night, and I think I need to read it during the day.
Is this the first one then?
No, it's not the first one. I'm not really sure where it falls.
Because I have one called Guards, and I can't remember if it's part of the Discworld series or...
I don't know.
Anyway.
But yeah, I hear it's supposed to be funny, and I really like funny. I just need to read this during the day and not at 10 o'clock at the night when, I can hardly keep my eyes open. But if you all have ever heard of this, let me know what you think of them, because that's one I kind of want to...
We're going fast, so we're running out of time. And so we're just going to do just little briefies now. So this is Jurassic Park.
Better than the movie.
So good.
It's very good.
If you have not read it, it is...
You should.
Yes, you should. It's so good. Also, Dune.
Jared recommended Dune. I was at his house the other day in his basement. He's got the whole series up there.
Yeah, it's a really, really good one. I really enjoyed Dune. I read it years ago, but yes, to Dune. And then this was one of my all-time... Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Hello.
Funny movie.
So, I love the book. The book is so So good.
I picked that up in high school. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay, this is my all-time favorite book, I think. And it's not really quite as geeky as the rest of these, but Les Mis.
That's okay. I talked about a year in Europe, so.
Now, here's the thing is, I'm not manly enough to get through the original version because apparently they got paid by the word at that point, and so they feel like really compelled to describe the room that they're in for 3 chapters, and then the wine that they drank and how it was made, and I just love
that.
I know. So this is actually a adaptation that's done by Jim Ryman, R-E-I-M-A-N-N, and it is so good. Even my 13-year-old daughter read it, and it's one of her favorite books too.
So you can do it. I'm gonna visit your library, man. I know. Borrow all your books. I want to talk about this one, the Sherlock Holmes. So I picked up this book at Goodwill. Yes, I do a lot of shopping at Goodwill. And they're actually very good.
Like Goodwill.
And a few of the stories
they're really actually good.
Yeah, a few of the stories actually kind of are similar to like the BBC Sherlock. There's a study in red. And I think or Study in Scarlet or one of the two. And in the Sherlock show, it's a Study in Pink. And so there's a lot of like parallels, but this is it's really good. Yeah. And he's got the same like quirky attitude as in the show and stuff. I like Sherlock.
I do too.
I'm a big fan.
That's another one I picked up. We also have Wicked here, which is a pretty good one.
Wicked's a good one too.
Except there's one scene that you just might want to delete from your mind forever.
Yeah.
I kind of was like, oh, where did that come? Why don't they warn you when they're going to do that kind of stuff? Okay, is that? Oh, this is two. I haven't read this one yet, but it's on my to-do list. Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. I've heard it's a really good one. It probably goes in the 1984 Brave New World category, I think, as well. And then also Edgar Allan Poe. This is
too dark for me.
Edgar Allan Poe. This was my favorite in high school. This was my favorite thing to read was Poe. It's a little disturbing, isn't it? But yeah, and all the stories I wrote at that time were pretty disturbing as well. So there you go.
So this was only like 3 books we actually
just
really loved.
The surface because there's so many. Yeah, I have 2 libraries in my house. I'm not gonna lie. I love books a lot.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the pirate books. Oh, I forgot to talk about the pirate books. Oh my word!
I just started reading them, and they're so funny.
Yes, the Pirates and Adventure with Scientists, the Pirates and an Adventure with Communists, an Adventure with Ahab, and an Adventure with I don't even know. There's 5 of them, and they're hilarious, and I love them. And
okay, but they're what the new cartoon that came out is based on, but they're not kids' books.
No, they're not kids' books. But the pirate captain is hilarious, and just. He always talks about his long, luxuriant beard, and it's his favorite part. They're so fun. They're like my perfect kind of book. They're hilarious, off the wall, not serious, just kind of like this is awesome. Yeah. And they're all good. All of them, every single. And when you read them, make sure you read like the author bio and then who it's dedicated to because it changes with every book and it's funny every single time. Every single time.
I'm just.
I can't believe we forgot to talk about them.
But we didn't.
I know that, but oh my word, I love those books. We almost forgot. Those are the
almost.
I know.
Yeah.
Read those. They're so fun.
Thank you guys so much for all your feedback.
Yes, we love it.
It was so great to hear new book recommendations. And if you guys are interested, others of you who didn't feedback want to know more good books, go and look on our Facebook page at all the feedback that people gave us. Another one.
Lots of good sci-fi ones.
Yeah, tons of good books in general. So yeah, that was fantastic to read through that, and we love books. So this is not even beginning to be close to the whole collection. This is just scratching the surface.
But not even close.
We did what we could. So it was fun, and we love talking about books. So yeah, but we'll see you next time on episode 7. So thanks for joining us.